totally appreciate the need to protect access to cash for those who are dependent on cash. And I think we're all agreed in this room that people are dependent on cash and other financial services and banking services which are put at risk from banks closing, ATMs closing, etc. But what, as well as providing that protection, what else could the industry or indeed government be doing to help people move towards a transition of a more cashless society? I see, Mr. Daly, you're nodding your head there. Do you want to answer that one?
Yeah, well, I think that was another important strand of our work. I mean, we didn't come out with a position as to whether or not it is desirable to ever reach a cashless society or not. But we started with the premise that we are not ready now, and we have to accept the direction of travel and then look at the reasons why there are some groups who are dependent on it, and at the very least get to a point where everybody has a choice. And so some of that is, as simple as ensuring that we have sufficient broadband and mobile connectivity. But we also need probably some innovation to support some of those other groups that are excluded, whether that's people who rely on cash for budgeting, people who are excluded from digital payments because of mental or physical disabilities. And there's not a lot of innovation in that area at the moment. It's not where the money is to be made, and that's why we think the FCA and the government should be sponsoring challenges and encouraging innovation in that area to try and ensure that we fix some of those problems and find alternatives for those individuals. And then when we get to the point where everybody has another alternative, we can have a debate as a society about whether or not we want to keep cash forever. But we're nowhere near that at the moment.
Scotland has some of the slowest average connection speeds. We know that. So if you're in Orkney, it's right at the bottom. 3 megabits per second. Shetland a little bit higher. Argyll and Bute and Murray both in pretty bad shape as far as internet connections are concerned. So, for example, we heard from a lady who runs a post office and petrol station in the north of Scotland, and she finds it very convenient to be able to have an ATM as well as the card payments that they use for petrol, because quite often the card payments are down, so she sends people out to get cash from the ATM in order to pay for petrol, and that is an absolutely standard, normal issue that arises. And I think that to brush over some of those connectivity issues would be a mistake, because they are pretty, they're really important, and they're one of the reported to us main reasons that adults in Scotland, we know that 2 million adults in Scotland don't use online banking, and the prime reason they say that they don't is because of bad broadband.